Aiden Dwyer has just run his 100th half marathon! Well, ran. So, first ever half marathon, Aiden, I believe, was back in 2019. Yeah, it was. St Albans Half on the 9th of June 2019 was where the journey all began. And the first few years of half marathon running were nice and stable, and you definitely had a penchant for St Albans. Did you live near there, or did you live near there?
Yeah.
I thought you did, because you've done that 4 times, and I also noticed that the St Albans Stampede has also been done several times. And then in 2024, we met you for the first time at May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, which was on this very towpath in May of that year, which actually is not a very long time ago, only a couple-ish years, in fact not even 2 years ago. And that is where your journey takes a sudden upward turn. I think at that point you'd done about half a dozen, maybe 10 half marathons. We met you in May of that year. And since then, you've run 88 of your 100 half marathons, quite a few of them on this towpath. So 88 half marathons done in less than the last 2 years. And of those 100 that you've now run, 55 of them have been with Phoenix, which obviously we're delighted about. We've got to know you a little bit over the last 2 years. And actually, I have to say, when I looked up the very first time we met you, I had to double check, because it seems like an awful lot longer that we've known you and Nadine. For all the right reasons, I hate it. Now, talked a little bit about the start of your journey, and I will also, of course, turn your journey to 100 half marathons into your unique pin number. So your unique pin, it's not a very big unique pin number, is 2492. So 2,492, which is the number of days it's taken you since St Albans back in June 2019 up until today to run your 100 half marathons. But one of the things I would like to talk a little bit more about is the latter part of the journey. So one of the things that I always think is really, really impressive is when somebody gets into what we call the nervous 90s or even the late 80s, and then they decide, I know how I'll finish off my journey to 100. I'll book a 10 in 10, or a 12 in 12, or a 7, or even a 5. So nothing like putting a little bit of pressure on at the end, and nothing like showing your true mettle. And if you knew nothing else about Aiden, that would be enough. Because anybody that says to themselves, right, I'm going to finish my journey by putting myself on the hook for at least 10, in this case 8, because actually, I don't know whether you've realised you've still got 2 to go, but anyway, we'll come on to that. But if you knew nothing else about this man, that would be enough to give you a really good measure of the mettle. However, what Aiden's done is he's come along, and I think it's fair to say, you probably noticed he's wearing a brace, and I think it's fair to say, you've struggled from the outset of this series. And I remember it was probably day 1 or 2, I think that might have even been day 1, you had gone out for a lap, and you came back through the aid station, and I've got a funny feeling it wasn't even fully daylight. And you came in and you actually had a genuine look of probably horror on your face, and you said to me, I think I've got to stop. And I don't see that look very often, even in a crazy series like this. And I said to you, I'm not going to ring you out, just give it a minute, go and have a sit down, see how you feel. Because if somebody is genuinely injured, they should not continue with multi-day running, because that would not be sensible. But sometimes people like to persevere. And I came to look for you about 3 or 4 minutes later, expecting to find you over there, and you were nowhere to be found. And I think I said to someone, you've seen Aiden, oh yeah, he's gone back out on his next lap. So you had taken that minute and off you went again. And your day since then, it's been a real privilege and an honour to watch your journey, because it's been complete ups and downs. Up, down, up, down. And the other thing that Aiden's done, and he's probably too modest to tell you, is he's not only come and done his half marathons on most of those days, but then he's gone off and done a full day's work. So I think that day when you really struggled, you then went off and spent the rest of the day on your feet at work, then came back the next day and actually had a better day, which sometimes happens in these series. And there's something that we say a lot during multi-day series running, which is what a difference a day makes, and what a difference a day makes. And there's loads of people nodding behind the cameras, because you all know from one day to the next, you can never tell. And 80% of the battle is getting to the start line. And not only have you got to the start line 8 days in a row, but you've got to the finish line. You have gone out there, you've tested your mettle, and you've overcome all sorts of adversity. And here you are, having a little sit down and a rest, having completed 100 half marathons. How amazing is that? It's got to deserve a big round of applause. So we have some goodies to give out to you. Now, the first of which is a little something that we do at our events to say thanks for choosing to run your 100 with us. So we have the Phoenix Wings in the 100 half marathon colours, which are the orange and silver. So there's a set of those for you, Aiden. Next we will go with the commemorative number. Now, you won't be able to see over there, but this number is absolutely ram-packed with signatures. So loads of people who are here today and who have come along to see you celebrate your 100th half have put messages and squiggles and initials on there. So that is for you to go with the number that you are wearing. Next, ooh, give me an ooh, give me an oh. We have the 100 half marathon baton. So I'm not going to get you to stand up to receive this, but I'll hand this over with its stand. So that is for you. And now we have 2 more things to go, and these are important. So we have the gold 100 half marathon club medal, and this is the bit that officially welcomes you and makes you the very latest member of the 100 half marathon club. So it's my very great pleasure to put that around.
Yay!
And finally, lastly but not least, it's that time when we introduce you to the world's most expensive half marathon running t-shirt. So, as we like to say, there is an awful lot, and in this case, an awful lot of blood, sweat, tears, grit, and determination that has gone into earning one of these, particularly over the last 8 days. It is my very great pleasure and honour. This one is called Aiden, you're called Aiden, to pass this over to you to welcome you into the 100 half marathon club. Ladies and gentlemen, the very latest member of the 100 half marathon club, Aiden Dwyer!